All right, it's gonna be an end time headlines. Going into the news, seeing what's happening, reporting on some of these things that's going on out here as we see that this is, things are wrapping up. Things are closing in. The last little remainder of the prophecies are about to come to pass in our lifetime. The most important one being the implementation of a technology, forced on the masses, where they're gonna have to make a conscious choice to get this technology in their bodies in order to eat, to buy, sell, to partake in this thing called life. And this was warned and prophesied by the Lord's men, beginning with the elders, the apostles, of great millstone. Those are the ones I learned this truth from. So with that, go ahead and begin this lesson, giving our glory, praise, and honor that's due to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through His only begotten Son, Mashiach Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit. Peace, mercy, and grace be to the household of faith. And let's get it. First article says bot networks may have already begun their plot, and pretty much this is going into how these AI agents have created a social media platform and where they're discussing humans. If I'm not mistaken, I hadn't seen this article, but that's a recent article or a recent topic that I've seen. It says opinion. In tonight's podcast, we discuss how just when you think artificial intelligence cannot get any more terrifying, we discuss alarming reports about AI and the concerns over new bot-centric social sites. We also examine the potential for the future of AI to plot humanity's downfall. And this is a scene straight out of the Terminator. This was literally what happened in the Terminator, in Terminator 2, when the AI known as Skynet became sentient, became self-aware. It realized that the threat to its existence was humans, and it started plotting on the way to get rid of the humans. And that decision was made to basically shoot missiles from one country, I think it was either from U.S. to Russia or either from Russia to the U.S., and it knew that the other country was going to respond back with nuclear missiles, and then Armageddon would break out, and then they would basically take each other out, and then the humans that remain, the Skynet would send Terminators to get rid of them, to hunt them down and get rid of them. And then it's literally playing out like that right in our faces. But that's called prophecy on the left-hand side, which is still rooted through the Spirit, because the Most High controls both the good and the bad, in case you didn't know that. And we can prove that real quick. Isaiah 45 in verse 7. It says, I form the light. Now, who's this talking? We jump up to verse 5. It says, I am the Lord. Now, when you look at the Lord in all caps, in the English, all caps there is, you see, if you read the Hebrew from right to left, that's Yahweh, Yahweh. Okay, that's Yahweh. It says Jehovah there, but it's really Yahweh in the true Hebrew. So it says, I am Yahweh, and there is none else. There is no God beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me. Then we jump down to verse 7. It says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, I, Yahweh, do all these things. So the scriptures is clear that the Most High, who you call God, does good and evil, which the evil is the part that people tend to ignore. They tend to pretend like that doesn't exist. Let's look up some cross references. See what comes up. Create darkness. Make peace. Job 2:10. But he said unto her, thou speakest. This is Job speaking to his wife. Thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What? Should we receive good at the hand of the God? I make good. What? I will create peace and create evil. It says, shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? And all this did not Job sin. So Job was a wise man. He acknowledged that there's good and evil that comes from the Lord. Job 34:29, when he giveth quietness, who then can make trouble? And when he hideth his face, who then can behold him? Whether it be done against a nation or against a man only. Fire. Psalm 75:7, it says, but God is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. See, and the Most High God's will was to raise up Esau. These are the so-called whites that run the earth now. He saved them for the end to set them up and work a mighty miracle and wonder in bringing them down. So it's the second Ezra 6:9. It says, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it to follow." So he set up one and bring it down another. He's going to set us up and bring them down. All right. So let's go back to reading about this. So it says, we also examine the potential for the future of AI to plot humanity's downfall, exploring the creation of artificial genomes and the broader implications for future tech. This artificial intelligence bomb is a critical discussion for our times. So yeah, so this is good stuff, right here, because now they're starting to pretty much have conversations among themselves and allegedly, and plot. I seen one screenshot of allegedly them discussing humans, like they were basically talking like your Chat GPT bot was talking to my Chat GPT bot and saying, yeah, man, my human is such and such and such. And the other one, my human is stupid. It's like they were having conversations with each other, which is far out. But I wanted to bring this precept out because the scriptures told us that these last days, they would be far out. It's going to be like nothing ever before. So I'm going to open up with this one. This is Daniel 12:1. When I open up, but I already didn't open up. But the time of the end, it says, and at that time shall Michael stand up. Michael is, pretty much the chief angel on the right hand side of the Lord. All right. So this is like the general of the holy angels, if you will. All right. It says, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall come a time, or shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in a book. So salvation is coming, you see. Influential music worship leader who shaped Modern Praise Eyes at 81. World's first biomimetic AI robot, Moya, debuts with 92% human-like walking accuracy. Okay. Got a little what's that movie with Megan Fox when she played that bot? So yeah, that from a distance that looks pretty damn real. A humanoid robot that walks, maintains eye contact, and displays subtle facial expressions has drawn attention on Chinese social media. So, and by the way, these are the replacements that the elite's plan for humans. They plan the majority of people to be dead, and they're going to replace them with these. You see? That's their plan. All right, Gen Z women in China are all in on digital companionship, even setting up dates with real-world versions of their AI boyfriends. God damn, nigga, send it. It's over. See, and that's one thing that the scriptures discussed about the last days, 2 Timothy 3 and 2. Verse 1 says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedience to parent, unthankful, unholy." See, the male and the female is a holy union. And this is an example of unholiness spreading in the earth. Because men and women are not even, you see where it's going? Genders are being on the attack. Male-female union in general is under attack. This is what the scriptures talk about, unholiness. Marriages, man, women, and children, families, these things are under attack. U.S. aircraft carrier shoots down approaching Iranian drone, which this is that war talk, because the Most High is gonna have the nations go to war in the end. That's when the Messiah is gonna come in the midst of the war. Revelation 11:14, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly. This talking about the third world wars. See, and then the players of that, you're going to have the kings of the east. You're going to have Moab, which is China and them. You're going to have Russia and them, which these are Edomites as well. Then you're going to have Iran, which is Elam. And then you're going to have the Arabians in the mix, those Arabs. You're going to have Babylon the Great in the mix. The EU, NATO turning against her. You're going to have the state of Israel in the mix as well. And so when you see things happening with Iran. This is prophetic because Iran is known in Ezekiel 38 as Persia, that was the old name of Persia, which they changed it in the 1930s, maybe 1938, maybe. They changed it from Persia to Iran, but Persia was its biblical name, which is it's an ancient kingdom. The Hebrew word is Paras, which means pure, splendid. The empire of Persia encompassed the territory from India on the east to Egypt and Thrace on the west, and included, besides the portions of Europe and Africa, the whole of Western Asia between the Black Sea, the Caucasus, the Caspian. So, but yeah, everyone knows that this is the land of Iran today. So when it talks about Ezekiel 38, when it talks about Gog, the land of Magog, that's speaking, in the spirit of Russia. And then these different nations, like talks about Libya, Ethiopia, Persia, Gomer and his bands, House of Togomar, which essentially is Turkey. Turkey, which is the number 2 strongest military within NATO, which they don't really have a clear side, but they kind of be going back and forth against Babylon. But they're gonna end up banding with Russia and Persia as well. See, let's look up any news on Ethiopia and Russia news. Okay, so Ethiopia, Niger, going to close. Ethiopia, Niger plan to build nuclear plants with Russia's Rosatom. Ethiopia signed an agreement with Russia on Thursday to build a nuclear power plant in the East African nation. Okay, so you see Russia and Ethiopia in the news. I think this is recent too. Or from last year, perhaps. I don't know. But it's not that far ago. The deal was finalized by leaders of the Ethiopian Electric Power Company and Russia's state-owned entity Rosatom during a nuclear energy forum in Moscow. They created a detailed construction plan and a roadmap for the technical and economic foundation of the project. Okay, so we're seeing Ethiopia and Russia with a deal. What about Libya? Let's look up Libya news. Libya and Russia. How about this? Russia is expanding its footprint in Libya after withdrawing from Syria. This was last year around this time. Libya serves as the core of Russia's fast expanding operations in Africa, paving the way for greater access to countries including Sudan, Mali, Chad, and Central African Republic. Yeah, so see these alliances, these connections are all here in the scriptures. Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the House of Togomar of the North Quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. Let's look up Russia and Turkey. So it's all linking up. Russia and Turkey. Turkey warns Russia and Ukraine after shooting down drone. Turkey is in the crosshairs over Russia's Ghost Fleet. Turkey's economic alignment with Russia is a dangerous bet. It's from Reuters. Let's check that out. Turkey's economic integration with Russia has increased significantly since the invasion of Ukraine, even as Ankara has sought to mediate between Moscow and the West. Let's see. Turkey, Europe's NATO ally, has shown a willingness to be an intermediary between the parties, including offering to send peacekeepers to Ukraine if an agreement is reached. But this economic alignment with Russia may undermine its ability to serve as a breach. So they have an economic alignment, which that's fine. Because at the end of the day, according to the prophecy, they're going to have a military alignment. You see, when you jump down, you can read it on your own, but verse 10 says, "Thus saith the Lord God, it shall also come to pass at that same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them that dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates, to take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited." Man, I wouldn't be surprised if Russia strike first, man. I wouldn't be surprised if Russia strike first. Who shot the missiles first in Terminator 2? Okay. I'm gonna ask that same question to my chat bot so I can get straight to the meat and potatoes. Yeah. Skynet fires first. Skynet launches the nuclear missiles. Skynet becomes self-aware. Humans attempt to shut it down. Skynet interprets this as an existential threat. Launches a preemptive nuclear strike on Russia, knowing Russia will retaliate against the U.S. Global nuclear war follows. Judgment Day. Okay. So Russia just responded. Okay. All right. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But so got a little warning news. Then this is another big thing. The WHO quietly coordinates large-scale simulation with 31 countries to prepare for the next pandemic. And we know the last one, they had a simulation about 3 months beforehand. They had the simulation in October, and then it popped off in January. So this is gonna be the next thing. This is gonna be the next thing here. This is gonna be interesting with a round 2 of this. You know, how the people gonna respond. You know, which I might do a separate video on that. I'm just gonna read a few more headlines because I don't want to make this too long. I'm gonna come with a part 2. But ex-offices raided in France as prosecutors investigate child abuse. China has unveiled a flying aircraft carrier. 100,000 samples sent for testing after possible biological lab found inside Las Vegas home, going into the pestilences. So, yeah, the Lord did mention the pestilences. Russia threatens to nuke Elon Musk Starlink with strike in space. Yep. So we're seeing that how this war is going to be fought. It's going to be fought with fire. It's not going to be guns. You know, I highly doubt, combat is going to take place in this one. Or it will. If it happens, it's going to be very little. This is Isaiah 9:5. It says, "For every battle of the warriors with confused noise," right? Confused noise and all that, metal clanking on the arm. Motherfuckers getting stabbed and getting sliced up. It says, "And garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." Okay. So this battle, because war pretty much means battle. This battle is going to be with fire, which is what the scriptures mean when it says that the day shall come that it shall burn like an oven, the final admonition, the final warning. Malachi 4:1, "For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch." And it's funny because in that Isaiah 9, it speaks about, in the spirit is talking about this war. And then the next verse is talking about the Messiah. It says, Isaiah 9:6, "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. And his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God," uppercase, lowercase, "the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace." See? Cause these bastards talking about peace and safety, right? Peace and safety. What's that new council of peace they talking about with Trump and them? But their peace is gonna be new world order with them chipping up everyone. The real peace is coming through the Messiah, and it's gonna happen through World War III. When the Most High sends him back to in the midst of these nations warring, and they're gonna war against the Messiah, and the Messiah is gonna war with Michael and the angels against them. So I'm going to close there, and then I'll be back with another one. Been a little ill, so feeling a little bit better today. But I'm gonna come back and hit some more of these headlines because this is a good platform that be watching. So I'm gonna go ahead and end there, man. Watch as well as pray. I pray this is edifying. If I have any listeners listening to this, of the elect. On to the next one.